a Saturday night edition. That's why I entitled it Saturday Night Live, the Tuddle Daily Podcast live stream. Want to thank, we got 4 people in here already. If you're in here right now, make sure you share this. Tell your friends, family, loved ones, whoever it may be. Go on your social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, whatever it may be, and tell people that I'm live tonight. I usually don't do Saturday night live streams because I know a lot of people have got stuff going on. They're probably, sorry, maybe shouldn't have smoked before I came on. But what I'm trying to say is that I wanted to be able to do another live stream. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff. Iggy T. What up, Iggy T? I'm going to get into a couple of things tonight. I don't like to be one of those people that, needs major awards or whatever, but I think what I'm going to talk about coming up next, it could be good. It could help this podcast grow. The content that I'm putting out with the YouTube channel as well as the Tuddle Daily Podcast. They got this thing called the Orlando Weekly Best of Orlando. And I've talked about this. With my analytics, they are telling me, what up, Franklin the Mailman? My analytics, the hosting site for my podcast tells me that nobody is listening to me in Orlando. What is the next date you'll be on Bubba next? So I was supposed to be on Bubba's show the 15th of last month. And then they had the whole COVID outbreak, and that got shut down. I've reached out to Blitz. I don't want to keep bothering or whatever. And I don't know. I don't know when the next time that I will be on Bubba's show. Yes. Thank you, Vulture. If you see the link that my producer Vulture just posted, go to the Orlando Weekly website. Now, you're going to have to write me in. And when you write me in, just put in the Tuddle Daily Podcast. You know what? And I usually don't like to do this, but fuck it. Fuck it. I'm going to play the game. Do I think that I have a real shot at winning Best Podcast in Orlando? No, of course not. I think Tom and Dan, A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, has won it like 8 straight years in a row. I want to be on that list. I want to be on that list of people to be able to vote for because I think that I could at least make in the top 3. That is my goal when it comes to the voting, when it comes to the best podcast in Orlando. If I can make it in the top 3, I would be extremely, extremely happy. If you go to any of my social media, twitter.com/Tuddle, Instagram.com/Tuddle, Facebook.com/Tuddle, I have posted a link. Now, I think that they're going to ask you to register. What up, T-Bone? But if you guys could go there and write me in so I can be a part of the voting, like I said, do I really think that I have a real shot of winning? No. Like I said, Tom and Dan have won 8 straight years in a row, I think. But it would be nice to be able to just be on that list up there because I will pit what I'm doing with this podcast, bare bones. I've been doing this thing for the most part on an old iPhone. I just recently upgraded to an iPhone 12. And I've been doing it all there. And my stuff sounds better. The quality of the sound is better than most of the podcasts out there. The content is better than most of the podcasts out there. So I don't think there should be any reason in my mind that I know that I can make at least the top 3. So, like I said, go to any of my social media accounts. The link is posted. Ray B, I'm doing well, Ray B. I'm doing well. You know, this week was a real struggle. It took all the effort and energy that I had just to get out of bed every single day. And doing last night's live stream really, really helped me out a lot. Like, I really don't think you guys realize how much I appreciate every single thing that you guys do for me. I mean, I consider you guys, well, you know what? I consider you family. Like, I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to everything that I talk about. I don't hold anything back. And back to what I was saying is, I know that it is complete absolute bullshit that nobody in Orlando is listening to the Tuddle Daily podcast. I know that's not true, because I personally know people that listen and download the podcast in Orlando. And I would just love to be able to prove a point, because like I said, there's a lot of these podcasts out there that spend just way too much money on equipment to try to be able to get their sound right. And there's a lot of podcasts out there that do have great sound, great quality, and they just don't have the content that I think that I'm producing and putting out on a daily basis. Like, you know, most of these podcasts are duos or an ensemble casts or cast. And I've been pretty much doing this show by myself with the help of my producer Vulture helping me out behind the scenes. And Sirach really helped bail me out this week by sitting in on my show every single day this week. Check out his podcast, The Weekly Review. It comes out, you know, once a week. What do we type in when we vote, and can we vote more than once? I'm not absolutely sure if you can vote more than once. I don't know. I just found out about this a couple of hours ago when, the guys from Funny to Informing. I've been on their show a couple of times, and they've been on my show, and they were promoting about writing their show in there. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I am going to play the game. I am going to beg for your votes. I'm going to campaign. I'm going to get out there. Hell, you know what? I might go stand at the busiest intersection in Orlando holding up, you know, those old style like sandwich boards that people would walk around with on. Yes, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to call in some favors. I'm going to ask to see if I can get on Bubba's show and see if the Bubba Army can pump up the votes for me. You know, maybe talk to some of the other past shows. You know what? Hell, I might even reach out to Ron Bennington to see if I can come on the Bennington show to be able to promote people, or to promote for people to be able to vote for me on the Orlando Weekly Best of podcast in the Orlando area. Hell, you know what? I might. Do you know when the voting closes? No, I don't. Yes, I am going to ask Brent. I am definitely going to ask Brent, because I think a lot of the Stern fans and stuff. Look, I'm going to pull out all stops. Like I said, do I think that I have a real shot at winning this? Who knows? I could shock the world. I could unseat. I can dethrone the kings of podcasts in Orlando, Tom and Dan. But I don't think it's going to happen. I really, really don't. Right in the Tuddle Daily podcast. That's all. I mean, that's as far as I know. Just, you know, the Tuddle Daily podcast. I don't automatically get in on the voting. Thank you, T-Bone. And like I said, it would be good because the Orlando Weekly is a very, very popular publication in the city of Orlando, just like Best of the Bay over in Tampa. They do the same thing. I think it is Creative Loafing that they do over in Tampa. I just think it would be cool to be able to see my name up there, the show's name. And this also is kind of like something for you guys as well too. You guys have helped me grow this show into something that I'm proud of. I've talked about this, and I know that I sound like a broken record every single time that I talk about this, but whenever I've done stuff online, when it comes to Twitter, Facebook, the only reason I have those ones, Hope won best Hoppy won best, you're back in Tampa, Creative Loafing. Yeah, Ray B, you know what? You're right. And you know what? I'm not going to even say anything bad about Ryan Hoppy. Ryan Hoppy, dude, the dude is a hustler. Ryan Hoppy is just like me. Like nobody wants to give him a chance. Nobody thinks he's talented enough. Nobody thinks that he has any business being on the radio. And I'm just telling you right now that I think, and I'll put up my podcast against anything of them, any of them. No, exactly. But I just hate begging. But this is something that we can all be proud of. If you are a supporter of the Tuddle Daily podcast or any of the content that I'm putting out, this is something that we can all. This is a team effort. And Vulture, if you are in the chat room right now, can you please post the link again? Matter of fact, Nelly Mandingo, if you're in, post the link as many times as you can. I want people to be able to go on, write me in. And can you guys, any ideas that you have in the chat room? I'm open for suggestions. What do I need to do? Like I said, I'm going to call in favors with some of the other radio shows that I've worked with in the past. You know what? I'm even going to, thank you, Vulture. Just click on that link right there and you can write me in. Hell, you know what? I'm even going to call and see if Russ Rollins from the Monsters in the Morning at Real Radio 104.1 can, hook me up. I don't know if Bubba is definitely one that I'm going to ask to see if I can promote what I'm doing. I don't think he will have a problem with it. Hell, you know what? I think even Tom and Dan would allow me to promote, to write me in for the Orlando Weekly Best of podcast. Even though that we would be competing with each other. Like I said, those motherfuckers have won it 8 straight years. So it's going to be very, very difficult to knock them off of their perch. I just want to be like in the mix when it comes to just people that you can vote for, shows that you can vote for, because I think that it would absolutely help this show grow. So if you're a supporter of it, go to orlandoweekly.com or just search Orlando Weekly Best of Orlando, and you'll be able to find it. But if you go to any of my social media, you can find the link, and you have to write me in. And when you write in the Tuddle Daily Podcast. If you're in the chat room right now, and if you haven't done it yet, give me a thumbs up, hit that like button, because it really, really has been helping me out with the algorithms. I looked at it today. Guys, I am almost at the finish line. I am almost at the finish line when it comes to the amount of hours that I need in a calendar year to be able to get monetized, for you guys to be able to do super chat, so I don't have to give out my PayPal account, paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio if you guys want to donate. But when you do the super chat, and once I do get the super chat, I don't want any of you guys to think it's going to be a big, like, panhandling fest. Thank you, Ray B. You do that joke every single night with the thumbs up. But, like, I just want you guys to know that the super chat will be there. If you guys are liking the show that I'm doing, throw me a tip. Like, like I'm some hobo, beating on some 5-gallon buckets, trying to play drums in New York City. Throw me $1. Throw me $2. Hell, if you're a baller, throw me 20, 30. No matter what it is, I'll be more than grateful for that. And also, here, you know what? I'll even say this right now. If you want to donate when I finally get on the super chat, did you hear Manson's tell all on Radio Gunk? No, I did not. See, that's... You know what? I will get into this a little bit. I don't understand what the hate is about. I don't know what Manson has against me. I've always have been the biggest fan of Manson. I really, really have. But, he's been telling people I'm on the do not trust list. He had this conspiracy theory that Bubba was paying me under the table to talk shit about Seth Cush or any of the other employees. I gotta tell you, I wish that I had that type of deal. I wish that Bubba did come to me. Or Tuddle. I can't even do a goddamn Bubba impersonation tonight. But if Bubba came to me and was like, hey, I want to pay you like $200. It is paypal.me/Tuddle on the radio if you would like to donate anything. And I write every single person back, even if it's $1 that they donate. I write them back and I thank them for their generosity. But once I get to that monetization, because I'm almost there, like seriously, the finish line is in sight when it comes to being able to get those hours that I need in a calendar year to be able to be monetized and to be able to have super chat. But I think the reason why Manson is upset at me is that I haven't done clusterfuck. I've called in and I've been on the show, but, ever since I got out of the hospital, I am trying to play nice with everybody. I've burned way too many bridges in my radio career, which is probably why I'm stuck doing Podcast Willie right now. But I've been able to repair most of those bridges. Like I said, the only one that I have not repaired is probably the one with Mike Calta, and I'm really not interested in repairing that one. Nothing against him. I mean, he did a lot for me, as well as Bubba, Russ, Ron Bennington, Drew Garabo, all of the radio shows that I've worked with, Shannon Burke, Soul Brother Kevin. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I want to be friends with everybody that I can in the business because it does me no good. It does me no good to have enemies in the business. It doesn't, because I don't have the name. I don't have the talent. A lot of radio is political. It is all fucking political. Do you know how many times that I get pissed off when I listen to the radio and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I have been busting my ass for 22 years and I know that I am just way more talented than some of the people that I'm hearing, and I'm not going to mention any names at all, but it just drives me crazy. And I know that I shouldn't compare myself to other people, but I know how much work, I know how much I love the business. A lot of these people that are on the radio have just, stumbled upon it. They are just like local comedians. No, and please, I'm not talking about anybody. Oh, Ray B. Ray B, thank you, buddy. Ray B coming in strong on PayPal, $25. Thank you, Ray B. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Nedley Mandingo. If you're just joining me right now, I've been talking about how I need your help. I need you guys to go to the Orlando Weekly website. Nedley Mandingo just posted the link. Write me in. It's the Orlando Weekly Best Of. They got a bunch of categories, and one of them is for best podcast, not on the radio. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of these other, like iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio is doing a lot of podcasting, and a lot of the on-air talent are doing podcasts on the side because they're wanting the web hits. They're all just trying to get greedy. They're all just trying to get those clicks. I don't know if you guys know this, that not only do radio people get radio ratings bonuses, but they get bonuses update. So you have to register your email address, but it looks like you can vote multiple times. Well, that would be amazing. Vote as many times as you can. Like, seriously, let's rig it. Let's steal this election like George W. Bush did against Al Gore. Or a lot of you guys, the Trumpers, the MAGA people that might think that Donald Trump got the election stolen from him. Yes, let's steal this podcast election. Just write me in. The Tuddle Daily Podcast. But back to what I was saying is I have nothing against Manson. I think Manson is one of the most talented guys that I have ever worked with in radio. I mean, he is killing it right now. Clusterfuck Radio is doing, they're doing their show every single morning. And then I think they do their bar show. So, like I said, I wish them nothing but the best. I love Trace to death. Trace is a really, really good friend of mine. So happy for him and his new bride, Lauren. I mean, Trace, that is a match made in heaven for the both of them. I love Donna. Donna has always been nothing but kind and fair to me, even though she probably didn't trust me. And guess what? I gave her a pretty good reason not to trust me at all, as many times as I have just motherfucked Bubba and the BRN people. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I just want to get along with everybody. I just do. I'm going to be recording a podcast, and I, with the cancel culture and stuff, I got to be careful because, it just takes a couple of complaints to be able to get kicked off of a platform. But TMZ, I thought it was some really, really interesting audio. But Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, I guess, was walking her dog. And that's the other thing. You know what really pisses me off more than anything is when people bring their dogs or pets into grocery stores that are not like support animals. Like, don't do that. That is just gross, unsanitary, and it just makes you look like a complete asshole. But Caitlyn Jenner, TMZ asked Caitlyn Jenner if it was fair for transsexuals boys that have transitioned into women to be able to play female sports. And even Caitlyn Jenner, who is a man that transitioned into a woman, at one time was one of the greatest athletes in the world, won the decathlon. And even Caitlyn Jenner disagreed. She thought that boys that have transitioned into women should not be able to compete in female sports. So I really don't see how I can get in trouble by playing that audio because that is a transsexual, somebody that has transitioned. I still don't know if Caitlyn had the penis cut off. I don't know. Does that make it wrong that I would actually have more respect if Caitlyn Jenner did have the banana split willy, because that's how they do it. That's how they create a vagina for a woman. They kind of just, slit right down the middle and fold it in. Dr. Dan Diaco Esquire. Ooh, big ass barge going by. Dr. Dan Diaco Esquire had a great quote. It might have been a couple of years of me working with the Bubba Love Sponge show. He said it's easier to make a hole than it is to make a pole. And that makes a lot of sense because, a lot of these, women that want to transition into men, they actually, they take drugs to enlarge, to engorge the clitoris. But that's basically what they do with men that transition into women. They cut the right down the middle, and then they fold it in, and they create a vagina. And that was one of the greatest quotes that I have ever heard. It is very simple, and quotes are always better when you can rhyme. It's easier to make a hole than it is to make a pole. Yeah. But I know that this show came out in 2019, but I talked about this show already like a week ago. It's a big work, in my opinion. You might be right, David. Who knows? But I've been watching that TV show Euphoria, and I forget the actor's name, but the one that plays Jules on the TV show that's on HBO, Euphoria. Now, that is an actual man, that has transitioned into a woman that got a part that is an actual transsexual part. And it's one of the greatest characters that I've seen on TV in a really, really long time. And if you have not had a chance to watch the TV show Euphoria, I think they're already filming season 2 because it kind of got pushed back a little bit because of all the COVID stuff. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just watched the damn thing I just watched the first season for a second time. And, I'm glad that I went back there. I am, well, hell, I had some fights with Bubba. At my last count, I was 48-1 versus women when it came to boxing. The only woman that I've ever lost to was the heavyweight champion of the world, Christy Martin, who is an Orlando native. And this bitch is so tough. Her husband tried to kill her, like literally tried to kill her. Stabbed her a bunch of times, shot her a couple of times, and stuffed her in a trunk, and she was still able to fight her way to beat the hell out of her husband and get in and escape. And she survived. So, yeah, I really don't feel bad about losing to a woman that got stabbed a bunch of times and shot. because Chrissy Martin, say what you want, that is one tough woman that can take a couple of rounds and a couple of stabbings and still be able to survive. Like, what was I supposed to do with that? Now, keep in mind, Chrissy Martin was also the 5th woman that I had fought that day. It was at Miss Monster at the Plaza Resort in Daytona Beach. And what up, Cornelian Orleans? Hey, Cornelian Orleans, if you're just joining me, scroll back through the chat if you get a chance, or go to my social media and make sure you write me in for best podcasts in Orlando. But back to the boxing thing, I had already beaten 4 women, and the 5th person that I had to fight was Christy Martin. Now, you also got to remember, this is in the middle of summer in Florida. In between each round that I fought with the women, most of the women did not even make it through the first round because I was just throwing haymakers and knocking them out, knocking them the fuck out. But I was having to drink a beer and do a shot of Jack Daniels in between each round. So I was already shit-faced by the time that I had to face the female heavyweight champion of the world, Christy Martin. So, yeah, she didn't knock me out. It went to the cards. And I guess she had the fan support behind her, and that was my one loss. I guess you call that a TKO, but I've never been knocked out by a woman. A lot of people ask me how the whole boxing thing versus women started. Back in the day when it was the Ron and Ron show, this is before I even I was still in high school during the Ron Bennington, Ron Diaz, Fez, Billy the Phone Freak. And the reason I bring up Billy the Phone Freak was Billy the Phone Freak was the guy that would box women. And then when Ron and Fez, after Ron and Ron disband, they broke up, and it became the Ron and Fez show over in Daytona Beach, and I became their intern. They were like, hell yeah, let's have Tuddle box people. Now, the first time that I ever boxed, I don't know what would it be to admire if it took out the implants and went back to being a man. He could not on banana split. Yeah, no, he couldn't. He really couldn't. But the first time we used to do this at Club Wana, I think, in Daytona. It was right off of Main Street. And the first promotion we did, because they would do these boxing fight nights, and they wanted to do the Diggstown Challenge. Now, the Diggstown Challenge, I don't know if you guys saw that movie. He had to fight 10 guys in one night. Now, I didn't have to beat any of these people, but it was me versus 10 guys, one after another, after another, after another. And I had to just survive. I didn't have to win. I just could not get knocked out. And it was 2 minutes per person. So I had to fight 20 minutes against 10 different guys. I was able to survive all 10 guys without being knocked out. And then the following week, I don't know how it started, but a woman with scoliosis, and I don't know if you know what scoliosis is. It is the curvature of the spine. She came in, she was all twisted up and everything. She was talking a lot of shit, saying, oh, I can knock you out, I can knock you out. And I was like, I looked at Ron and Fez, I was like, is this okay? Is this okay? And they put boxing gloves on her, put boxing gloves on me. And I swear to God, I folded her like a lawn chair in one punch. I felt bad about it at first. I really, really did. And I did not pick any of the fights. Every single woman that ever fought me had a chance to win at least, at the bare minimum, $500. Now, does that make me a bad person? Does that make me a less of a man? No, I'm just being serious though. Like, I mean, they had a chance to win $500, and I didn't pick any of these fights. I didn't go out and call anybody out. Every single when we went to this club promotion, there would be like three or four women that wanted to step up and get some of the Tuddle right hand. And they all had a chance to win $500. Now, the other thing was, if, we didn't have any women, guys could fight me, but they actually had to have one hand tied behind their back. That's the only way. And everybody, I got so much hate. Everybody used to call me the biggest pussy because if I fought a man, they had to have one hand tied behind their back. Now, I think the one fight, now this guy was really, really big. And this is when I worked with the Monsters at Real Radio 104.1. And this guy was humongous. Like, he outweighed me probably by about 80 pounds, very, very muscular, okay? He had a full-size right arm, okay? But the left arm, where he boxed with, was like a miniature T-Rex arm. Like, his blocking arm was a T-Rex arm. It was like real tiny, like seriously, like really, really tiny. It was almost like a curly Q arm. You know, those curly Q. Thank you, BH. Wow, 87 times. Shit. I should at least be able to be on the voting board on that one. But I thought I was actually going to lose to the curly Q arm guy. But no. I ended up beating the fuck out of this dude. And I kind of felt bad about it. But this guy, he was talking some mad trash. He was, like I said, big ass guy, way bigger than me. But where he messed up was, his good punching hand, he was right-handed, okay? But he couldn't block. He could not block because his hand was like this. Look. It was like curled up like this, and it was a very miniature arm, and he just could not block. I would just jab. I was like pow, 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 jab, and then I tire him out, and I would just throw it. So that is pretty much my boxing career. Yes, I did lose to one woman, but it was by Christy Martin, the world heavyweight women's champion of the world, that her husband actually tried to kill her, stabbed her, and shot her a bunch of times, and still would not go down. She was like the fucking Terminator. Just would not stop. And I'm not talking about that old model, Arnold Schwarzenegger model, where, about the police officer in Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the one that you would just shoot so many times and he would just like reform back into the original matter. Yeah, that's pretty much what Christy Martin was. So I used to spar a lot. That is hard work. Bubba arm. Jesus. I actually had those shirts made up. The Bubba Rex shirts. And I could have made a lot of money off of those when I first started the podcast, but I just did not pull the trigger on it. I really didn't. And I can't even get a hold of my merch guy anymore. So, who knows? I hope he's okay. Eric from Stitch You Up. I've been trying to call him for months and months, and just nothing at all. I did have a little help from Nedley. Oh, well, listen, any of you guys that have voted, yeah, 2 minutes is a long time. A lot of you guys do not know this. I wrestled in high school. I wrestled 3 years of high school wrestling. I really was shit. I really, really was shit. I probably won maybe 10 matches in 3 years. But the reason why that I wrestled was because wrestling happened right before baseball season. And I was a pitcher. And a lot of people are like, well, what do you got to be in shape to play baseball? Everybody's out of shape. No, actually, if you want to be a pitcher and you want to be able to pitch all seven innings back then, you need to get a hold of my man, Will Wilson. He does merch for Bubba. Please, get me an email. PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio. That's PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio if you want to donate. But yeah, I wrestled, and a lot of people don't realize this. If you go a whole wrestling match in high school wrestling, it is 3 2-minute rounds, and you are using every single muscle in your body. You really, really are. And I had one of my best baseball seasons pitching that I had ever had because I was in the best shape that I had ever been in. But I got to tell you, I think I wrestled from 95 to 98, and you would not believe all of the ridiculous, dumb, dangerous shit that they would make us do to lose weight. Now, I always made sure that I was at least underweight because the last thing... All right, so I am more of a grower than a shower, if you know what I mean. And if you were close to weight, just like even if you were over by just a little bit, they would make you get completely nude. Completely nude. And that was like one of my biggest fears was I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be overweight and I'm going to have to just go like naked and afraid, like just straight down into my birthday suit. And I just did not want to do that. But man, some of the dumb shit that we did, like not eat, take water pills, run with garbage bags on, sit in the bathroom with the shower as hot as you could get it while wearing trash bags. I don't know if you know what it's like to run in summer and wearing garbage bag suits, but it's not cool. There was this guy that wrestled in the state of Florida. No, you know what? I'm trying to stay away from Twitch. I really, really am because, you know, you would think that YouTube would have like stricter rules, but they really, really don't. They don't. The only thing that you can do on Twitch is like the copyright stuff. Like you can play whatever music you want to play on Twitch, I think. YouTube you can't. You'll get copywritten like all day every day, and your videos will be demonetized, and you won't make anything from them. But you do get away with more. But back to the wrestling thing. Talking about how dumb and stupid some of the stuff we did. There was this wrestler up in Suwannee County. His name was Billy Saylor. He actually wrestled 4 years varsity and never lost a single fucking match. During the off season before he went to college, he was trying to get into shape. I think this is back when they were taking creatine or, you know, that metabolism drug or whatever. Man, Matt Casper, Just throwing in dollars like I'm a fucking like stripper right now, and I like it. Sailor Billy. No, Billy Sailor. I think it's Saylor. But he ended up dying before he ended up. Man, Matt Casper is just throwing it at me like I am a stripper working the pole right now. Like it's like $1, $1, $1, $1, $1, and I love it. Thank you. I will be your whore all day long for that dollar. PayPal.me/Tuddle on the radio. But it was such a sad story because Billy Sailor, like I said, I forget what college he was going to go wrestle for, but he ended up dying. He ended up dying from all the dumbass shit that these wrestling coaches would make us do to be able to cut weight. Man, like, swear to God, Matt, you're just like making it rain dollar bills, y'all, on me. So, all right. So I'm gonna get out of here. I know that this has kind of been a big plug fest, but if you could go to my social media, you can find the link to be able to go to the Orlando Weekly website, Best of Orlando, to be able to write me in for the best podcast not on the radio in the Orlando area. I'm trying to prove a point. Like I said, Tom and Dan have won it for, I know, sorry. Sorry, buddy. I won't do that again. Anyways, Manatee High. Thanks. Yes, you wrestled in high school. The same stuff. Yeah. I mean, it was really, really sad. Nelly, man, I won't do that anymore by saying your last name. I apologize. I just get kind of worked up. Anyways, if you get a chance, go to Orlando Weekly. Go to any of my social media and go on there and vote. Go to orlandoweekly.com, Best of Orlando. Write me in for best podcast not on the radio. I want to thank all of you guys for joining me tonight. Hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I hope you guys are safe. And trust me, I will be back tomorrow night, maybe doing a Sunday night version of the Tuddle Daily Podcast live stream.